about to go see Terrifier 3. And before we hit the theater, Kirk, what are you looking forward to here?
I think there's one reason you go to this movie. It is straight up gore. I mean, the special effects, Art the Clown, and the gore, that is the leading edge of this movie. That's what I'm most excited about. And the things that I'm kind of nervous about, one is the brother figure. Am I going to really have to sit through 2 hours of him again? I even forget the kid's name. And the storyline. The storyline's a little muddled, but weird. What about you? What are you excited about?
No, I'm 100% with you. The storyline, it was it's not the greatest, but that's not what I'm here for. Nope. I'm 100% with you. Give me good blood, give me gore, give me the effects. I know Damien will not let me down. All the people that are passing out and throwing up are telling me that this is just going to be like part 2. Stoked, excited. I'm be honest with you. I got high expectations. I'm thinking like a 7 on this one. What about you?
It's crazy. So I gave the last one like a 6 or 6.5, and I was going to step it up just a little bit because it's the third one, right? So I was going to be with you at that 7.
Well, let's find out where we were right and wrong, and if our scores held up now for Terrifier 3.
Mike, I got one question for you. What time is it?
It's 7 o'clock somewhere. Showtime. Welcome, everybody, to Movies at 7, the weekly podcast where we dive into one film to dissect, rate, and review. And this week, Christmas has come early in many different ways, shapes and forms, I guess, if you will. Kirk, we went back to the theater this week.
Yeah, and trust us, guys, we are not a clown podcast. We do other things. It just so happens the first 2 movies were the movies Art the Clown and Joker.
Yes. So obviously we are talking Terrifier 3 this week. Very excited to get into the 3rd installment of the Terrifier series.
That's crazy.
For those that are first-time listeners, I am your host, Mike. That other voice you heard is Kirk, and we will be bringing it to you. And by the way, we are a spoilers podcast. We do not know how to review a movie without spoiling it. Maybe Kirk does. I don't.
No.
So we will be ruining this movie. So it's important that you've seen it. If you haven't, watch it, then come back and rate and review along with us.
I have a hard time even telling someone if I liked it or not without spoiling it. So yeah, I can't.
I've been on the other end of that. I know where you've spoiled.
Oh, it's great.
Movies.
I love this one part where.
Well, that's every conversation with Kirk is when he's seen a movie. I have to be like, whoa, just stop.
Whoa, stop.
Don't spoil it for me.
Don't even inflect your voice. I don't want to hear it.
And we're going to be getting into rating and reviewing, and we'll be telling you what our movie is next week as well coming up. But as we always like to kick off the show, it is a top 7 countdown time. And Kirk, what is this week's top 7?
Yeah, so this is Terrifier 3 week, and that 3 is important because we are going top 7 number 3s in a trilogy. I know that's a word salad, but it's the 3rd movie in a trilogy. What are the top 7 movies in said thing?
I mean, you could have just said it's the number 3 film.
All right, so I made it more difficult, but they got the point.
I mean, they got it. I'm wondering if I still have it.
You're rewriting your list as we talk.
What is this going to be? Who I think you went first last week.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I'll go first this week.
There you go.
So for me, coming in at number 7, it's a recent film. It's from 2017, and it is John Wick Part 3, Parabellum. I love everything about the John Wick series. Honestly, if we did a Part 1, 2, 3, and 4, it might make maybe not a Part 1, but it is up there on everything. I think all the sequels are fantastic. And this was no different. I love Part 3 of John Wick.
John Wick, I've seen 1, 2, and 4. I've never seen 3.
What is the point of skipping?
I didn't do it on purpose. I was on a plane, and it like they had it, so I just watched it. I don't know.
I don't either.
I like the first one. I love the first one. The second one's good. 4th one was okay.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's like a puzzle piece, and you're just okay that it's missing. And
I'll get to it eventually. I got a feeling I know what happened. It's kind of like Terrifier. You kind of know what happened.
I know, but sometimes the journey is better than the destination.
Yeah,
That's
true.
all I'm saying.
Yeah, we had that conversation.
All right, so what is your number 7?
My number 7, and I don't have anything very recent, and I'm just noticing it, but it's from 1982. It is Rocky 3. Rocky 3. Yeah, that's Eye of the Tiger. That's Mr. T. It's just such a great movie. I love all the Rockies. I like them 1 through 5, but 3 is one of my favorites.
I pity the fool.
I pity
right?
the fool. Yeah, such a great movie.
I forgot about
Hulk Hogan's in that one.
Thunderlips.
That's right. Good catch.
I know the movie. I just
everybody loves Rocky 4. I like 3 better than 4.
Listen, I believe you. It's in your top.
Yeah. Well, it's in my top 7
part
threes.
3s. Yeah, I guess that's
so,
true. It is
4 would be.
It was a little bit niche. Yes, of what we're looking for.
So
here.
am I continuing the countdown, or I go and then you go too? All right.
I feel like we've discussed this in the past before.
We've done this before, I promise. So my number 6, I just improved that by 1 year, 1983. Mine is Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. It's not the best of the Star Wars trilogy, but Return of the Jedi is excellent. I mean, the Star Wars Jedi, the original, the George Lucas ones, are absolutely excellent. We won't get into the Disney ones, but I love the original 3.
I have to say, I've never seen it. I haven't.
We made fun of me with John Wick.
I haven't seen the Star Wars. I apologize.
I got a feeling I'm going to get some other movies on here you've never seen too.
I think there's a lot of very famous part 3s that I just cannot comment on.
Or great movies.
Or great movies, but I just never got into the Star Wars lore, if you will.
All right, so what's your 2020 movie that...
It's not 2020, but I am staying in 2017.
So that wasn't far off.
And ironically, this made last week's list as well, but Logan from 2017 is the third Wolverine movie.
Because it was Wolverine and then Logan.
And then Logan. There's nothing I didn't say last week that I didn't say. It's such a solid film. And after watching, the Deadpool Wolverine movie, going back in there and rewatching this, it's just so heartfelt and good. It's a great movie. It's not even, a comic book movie. It's just
that's the thing. So the first 2, they leaned heavy on the comic book aspect of it. This one, they re-leaned back into the drama and real type movie with some comic book sprinkled in. They kind of leaned a little differently.
I agree. So coming in at number 5 for me is I was about to say another part 3. They all are. Spoiler alert. But we're going to 1992, so a little ways
that's
back.
Early for you.
And once again, still should have been called Medieval Dead, but it's Army of Darkness. What a great part 3. It's one of those ones that every time it's on, you can watch. I honestly feel like it fits into so many different genres, and horror is almost like the last of it from everything from this movie. It's more a comedy than anything, but I love it.
If we ever go into top 7 movies that are most quoted, I think Army of Darkness will be in there as well.
Little boomstick action, yes.
You got ugly. All right, so my number 5, don't hate me. You knew this one had to be here. Mike Jason, just, I know. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, 1982. It had to be in here. It's one of my favorite horror movies. So it's my number 1 part 3 horror movie of all time, if we did that countdown. But yes, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I didn't even know it was going to make the list the other day when we were talking. It made the list.
First off, I knew that it was going to make your list. You can play it off like it's not going to make the list. It was 100% making the list.
Yeah, but it's 5. Are you surprised at that?
You want to know? I am, because I actually thought it was going to be in your top 2. So I am very surprised.
There's some great movies coming up here soon. They're in my top 5. All right, so my number 4. This is my newest movie, and that is sad because I don't think you might have one movie. The movie you just said was 2003 is my newest movie, is the finality of the Lord of the Rings. So Return of the King, Lord of the Rings. We won't even get, Mike hasn't seen any of the movies, so we'll just keep moving past that, but they are excellent movies. Twin Towers is my favorite. Return of the King is still an excellent entry.
Can you say My Precious? Was that from that movie?
Yes, that is.
I know it's from the series. I feel like a loser because I knew Lord of the Rings was going to be on here. I knew Star Wars was going to be on here. And when I was researching part 3s, I'm like, I'm sure these are all amazing.
Yeah.
And I know nothing.
Well, now that they're hyped up so much, you're going to watch it and think they're stupid. So
that's fair. That's fair.
So what's your number 4?
So number 4, and I feel kind of weird about this now because I already talked about
Halloween 3 Season of Witch.
I already talked about Logan, but I'm going all the way back to like a couple months ago, 2024. Deadpool and Wolverine is one of the greatest movies that I have seen. I mean,
Recency
start to finish. I think there is some recency bias to it, but I honestly think that this is a movie that I will be able to watch over and over. I love this movie. Everything about it was hilarious, amazing. I love the story. It comes in at number 4 for me. And yes, I definitely understand there's recency bias.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I want to see it. I just haven't seen it.
I know in a year from now you still won't have seen it, but
I'll get to it.
I mean, once again, hasn't
we'll have
seen
to review it. That's what we'll do.
I am down for that. So
I am down.
It is good. I think it's me at 3, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
So coming in at number 3, maybe you aren't going back this far, but I'm going back to 1964.
Nope, I did not.
How about them apples?
Yeah, that's impressive.
For
a
little movie that you might have heard of. It's called Goldfinger. To me, it is the greatest James Bond film. Even as a kid, I watched this like all the time.
It's a good one.
It is now I can't think of his name. The James Sean Connery. It's my favorite, but the music's in my head. Obviously, it spawned the Austin Powers stuff. It spawned the game. Like it's lasted.
Roger Moore was my favorite, but Sean Connery's excellent. And I looked up the third Daniel Craig one, but that was stupid. So I tried to go James Bond. I just couldn't find a James Bond. I
don't think it's. I mean, I guess you could have got away with the third Daniel Craig, but I look at it as just the third James Bond in general is Goldfinger, which is crazy.
Yeah. Spectre was the newest one, and that wasn't a very good movie.
Spectre?
Casino Royale, Spectre. But my number 3 is a number 3. Da-dum-dum. So this is from 1990. It's one of the best trilogies of all time. It's if we ever do a trilogy list, but it's Back to the Future 3. That is one of the best trilogies of all time. Does not need to be touched. Does not need to be remade. That movies are perfect. Leave them alone.
It almost made my list. Not to spoil anything, but It is a great trilogy.
That's one when they go back to the West. It's just excellent.
But I still think part 2. I mean, but part 2 is so much better than
Part 2 is great.
Part 2 is excellent. It's one of those ones that literally you could throw a dart at any of the movies and they're all pretty good.
All 3 of them are excellent movies. So my number 2 is from 1989. It is a little movie. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's called Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. A few people saw it. Harrison Ford was in it. It's a pretty good movie. No, Last Crusade was excellent. That's where Indiana Jones ended in my book, because the next 2 were dog shit trash. But the Last Crusade is excellent. Talking about James Bond, Sean Connery's in that one.
He is. He's great in 3s.
Yep. He's great in 3s.
So my number 2 coming in here, we're going back to 87.
Ooh.
And a little Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It is fantastic. It is one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just talk about classic lines like "Welcome to Prime Time, bitch," right? All these, but I just love the movie. This was, part 1 was Freddy, a scary Freddy, and I love that. Part 2, he starts to get funny, but the story's a little, wonky. Part 3, to me, is like the quintessential Freddy that I grew up loving and knowing and wanting to see.
That's the Freddy personality everybody knows.
Yes.
It's 3. That's where it starts, 3.
But I love Dream Warrior, so that comes in at number 3 for me. Which
that was number 2, right?
Or number 2. I'm sorry, number 2. I've just said the number 3. so many times on this episode so far. So wait, do we have the same number one again?
It sounds like it. We're back to back. It sounds.
This
like
happened
it.
last week. I will say you helped make this happen this week.
Yes. I right before we got on recording, I brought up this movie thinking Mike Freudian slipped it on purpose, but we were both wrong. He forgot about it, and it was my number one. So I'll let you say. I said last week. You can say this week.
For Christmas Vacation. It is my favorite Christmas movie. I watch it. Comedy. I watch it every year religiously, multiple times during the Christmas season. If it's on ever outside of that, I just love the whole series of National Lampoon's Vacation, but Christmas Vacation, I think it's the best one.
It's one of the few comedies you get a little dust in your eye every time you watch it. When he's stuck up in the attic.
Is it in the attic when he's crying watching the, yes. They're at the mall?
Listen to that music. Oh, it's so good. It's a perfect movie.
And it is probably the most quotable movie out there. That cat had 9 lives, and he just used them all. I love
drag you out in the middle of the forest and leave you for dead. It's National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is perfect. That's a 10 out of 10.
It's up there.
I don't know where you deduct from that movie.
I don't either, but I don't want to just throw it out there. I'm not a 10 giver. Immediately,
I give some 10 out.
But if it's not a 10, it's a 9.9. It's there. So. But that is our list this week for the top 7 back-to-back weeks. We've had the same number one, so it's interesting of where we land here. But now, speaking of Christmas, speaking of part 3s, I think we head into Little Terrifier 3.
Warning: the following footage may cause irrational excitement.
Welcome back, and as we discussed probably less than 30 seconds ago, you are listening to the review of Terrifier 3. But before we can get in there, Kirk, I think you need to answer something.
What's in the box?
So digging into that box, so we've got Terrifier 3 is a 2024 American Christmas supernatural slasher film. Written and directed by Damien Leone, just like all of them, taking place days leading up to Christmas. The story follows Sienna Shaw as she attempts to rebuild her life from the second one. At the same time, Art the Clown is in pursuit alongside a new accomplice. It is the sequel to Terrifier 2 from 2022, and it is the third installment, in the Terrifier franchise. The movie has a runtime of 125 minutes. The budget was around $2.5 million. I can't see solid numbers, but in that range. But already for the opening weekend, we're at $18.3 million. It is number one at the box office for an independent movie. That is massive.
And not just an independent movie, but
truly independent.
Like it is a gory horror movie independent that you wouldn't think would draw the people out. So
yep. Scoring on this one, IMDb gave it a 7.2. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 78%, and Metacritic got a 61%. So people are liking this movie.
So Kirk, as we heard at the beginning of this episode, but we recorded last week, before going into this movie, we both kind of had the same, we were very excited about what Gore and, macabre, if you will, that we were going to see from Art the Clown. But we were a little bit worried about the brother and the storyline for the most part. So now we're going to find out, was it justified? And kind of go from there.
How it matches our expectations.
Yeah. And here with the movies at 7, we like to use a 0 to 10 rating system. 5 different categories. We add it all up together at the end, and that will equal our final score. But we actually have a special guest joining us for this Terrifier 3 review. Jason, welcome back. Or, well, I shouldn't say welcome back, but our old Michael versus Jason Horrorcast, a long-time co-creator, has joined us because, I mean, it's Terrifier 3.
Yeah.
It's got to.
What's up, guys?
welcome to the show.
Oh, you didn't do it. Oh, I probably lost some money. It's me. It's Jason.
It's me. It's Jason.
I told some people I was going to be back on this week. I was really excited, and a few people were like, "You got to say it's me." And I was like, then I was thinking about the greetings and salutations just to piss Mike off. But I'm like, nah, I'm just going to say hi.
I'm glad you did not greetings and salutation it.
Greetings and salutations.
But I'm excited to kind of hear, Jay, your thoughts on this. Kirk and I saw it together. Obviously. Yep. We did not see it with you. We are in completely different states.
1,500 miles apart. So,
our first category that we always like to dive into here is story beats in Kirk. What does that even mean?
Yeah, story beats is exactly what you think it is. It's going to be your story, the concept, the 3 acts, how the movie all ties together. It's your story. It's exactly what you think it's going to be.
So, Jason, as a guest, I'm going to come to you kind of first here of just initial thoughts on anything here on the story.
You know what? You're on a third movie, and you're kind of wondering where can they possibly go on a third chapter of a series that's kind of been kind of like gung-ho, right? And you just don't know what you're going to get. I was actually surprised for the direction that they went with this. I personally loved how they shifted ahead in time and actually shifted from Halloween to Christmas. I thought that was brilliant in my opinion, just kind of going away from what's kind of made the franchise, and I'm going to say franchise because there's 3 now, the franchise kind of, the lore of it. I think that they did some really great things with this. I was extremely impressed with it.
Yeah, I do like the 5 years into the future. Because, a lot of these, it'll be like, all right, we're going to pick up, the next day or whatever. I think some of that's been done, but like fast forwarding 5 years in the future, I do think the Christmas is genius. I mean, I really thought that brought just, I don't know, a different vibe and allowed them to do some, different things with it that, we had fun with on it.
Yeah, I mean, the concept, we're talking the concept of Art the Clown's already out there. Bringing art into Christmas, I thought was a cool idea. It made for some funny exchanges, especially with the cameos in there with what's his face? Come on, the guy got shot in the face.
Clint Howard,
yeah, and his little crew right there at the bar. I mean, that was funny and all. It was the 3rd installment, so it's like, where do you take the story? I don't think the story progressed very far, as it filled in a couple little answers, but not a lot.
Well, yeah, they try. Like going into this, I think we all saw Terrifier 2 together, and I mean, we were all kind of like
big world in Terrifier 2.
The sword and like the weird, like it did make sense, and I think they filled in some of the potholes, right? I think they filled it in, unfortunately, some of them with like
more potholes.
I don't know if it's more potholes. I think they just filled it in with like loose gravel and didn't really cement it. And then other ones they did, seal it.
You know what though? I kind of disagree in a small way. I think they really did expand on what was kind of left open in 2. Obviously they had more with the father in this one, which was played by Jason Patric, which was really good. Another, big name. I think
that was Jason Patric.
It was Jason Patric. He didn't look like Jason Patric, but it was Jason Patric.
He's a little swollen at the time.
Yeah, but I think they did more on that storytelling to kind of like bring in like why and how the character of Sienna was, her costume and like being the savior in a way, and they kind of explored more into that lore. So I kind of like how they kind of pulled that all together.
So I agree, like those scenes with the dad, and I like how they do that of Sienna as a young girl and showing what happened. But Jay, like, do you like? There's the part with the red door and the dad holding on to the paper and not letting go. Like, you got no answers to exactly the sword and the supernatural. Something's there, and I'm
like,
sure.
I feel like they feel like they brought it up, but they didn't explain it. Like, it was
it'll
like,
come.
Yeah, but I also I also
put
think
it in
that
wrapping paper.
I think Damien's playing the long game on this and
Sure.
knows like, hey, I'll give you a little bit here. Come to the next one. I'll give you a little bit more. And at the end, you'll understand the full story. And if that's what happens, I think you look back on it and you go, okay, did it improve by what you learned later? Did it improve the previous ones? And that's where we'll be. But
For sure.
But just
but I'm rating
part 3,
this
I'm like,
movie,
Yeah,
reviewing this individual movie, and then reviewing the series and the story of Art and Sienna and Jonathan, all that is totally different, right? So I'm reviewing just this movie, and like you said, I feel like they filled in potholes with more potholes.
Well, and also the sword, which is like, okay, if this is going to defeat all evil, she stabs Art with it at the end, and then the last scene he's at a bus stop, and he's like just heading on his way
too. So it's not really doing a good job.
But he was reborn. I mean, like in essence, he was somewhat dead and then reborn. I don't know how he got reborn though.
For me though, I still think so. Obviously, we got more with Victoria in this, so I think there's like a big tie between Victoria and the Pale Girl, obviously from part 2.
Pale Girl went bye-bye.
Yeah, and I think that whole thing is what is controlling Art, obviously, and the sword taking, her out, Victoria out, putting her back in hell. I think that kind of, my opinion, I think it kind of makes like Art a loose cannon going forward to where like this storyline of the sword might come away from it.
So I agree with you, Jason. But I can take that 2 ways. One is somebody's controlling Art, which I don't like. I want Art to be the boss, Art to be Art, or 2, it's like it was just some random extra character. Then we chopped off her head.
So this is where I agree and disagree with you guys. So I actually, like Elliot explained what was happening in his letter to Sienna. He goes, they explained it in that where he goes, Art is he needs a soul to like be in the world. Which once again, she dies, but he's still in the world. So that could mean to what you said. He is a loose cannon, or is there another soul?
Maybe,
but that doesn't. That explanation doesn't line up with 1 and 2.
Well, it does because he's got the girl in part, Victoria's all there, but he could have more souls. He could have multiples. Yeah. He could have somebody that he just kills somebody. That little girl. I say the girl that fell in, Gabby, she could be the soul going forward, which Kirk, you said that when we were leaving the theater.
Yeah. And I think Jason was just kind of hinting at it. Some people I've been reading online think that Jonathan could end up being Art the Clown.
Mm-hmm.
Like in some twist of realities and spinning of it. He could end up being Art the Clown from the future or something. I don't know. We're getting kind of crazy here.
I don't know. If he doesn't talk, I guess I'm okay. One
improvement on the character.
One thing I do want to talk about, because we haven't, that opening sequence. I love how this movie opens up and the little girl going downstairs and Art's there and, him going up and killing the wife and husband who are having a everyday argument in bed, and I'm with the husband. They kill the little boy, even though they don't show it on screen. Like, but what a devious kickoff to the movie.
It felt like a short movie that they just stuck in front, and it worked perfect.
Mm-hmm. But it works because they go back and they say, but earlier and later, and all that, and it works. And I also like how they explain how Art's just sitting in the chair for 5 years and there's cobwebs on him.
Well, that's kind of a poke at other horror movies. Like, what has Michael Myers been doing all this time?
But I just love that they have that there, and you just go, okay, I don't even like Kirk, you and I said when we were leaving, like, I don't need any more explanation. That answers a question, and it's like, that's cool. I like how
what was my number one thing that they explained that I didn't want them to explain, but I liked how they explained. It's how he got his body back. I was like, they're going to do something stupid on how he gets his body back. But I really enjoyed how he got his body. He got his old body.
How they did it. Yeah, the duct tape around the neck. Hilarious.
But I will say this. If you kind of think about it, with going back to the whole part with him sitting in that rocking chair, think about this for a second. We talked a bit ago. I brought up with the whole Victoria thing. Well, Victoria's in that bathtub. She slits her wrists, and die. Like, you think she's dead in the bathtub. She goes to sleep. Art then goes to sleep. She comes back alive. Art comes back alive because she was messed with first before Art was.
True, but then they chop her head off, and Art's giggling and laughing and runs out the window.
Yeah, that's where it's like. But I also think, Gabby also fell
on him.
But I also think Gabby fell into the whole
replacing
as like Art was against the wall with the thing in him, and then she went to go save Gabby drops, she turns behind, and he's gone.
Who
So
uses
maybe
the
there's
sharp
something
end,
there.
Who uses the sharp end of a sword to help save somebody? There's like everything in the room.
First off, her hands were bashed to pieces, but then we see like her hands heal, which once again, we understand there's supernatural powers and entities that I just think will get explained throughout.
It's the sword for her, because the sword is what got her to heal in the end of part 2.
It's just
in the tank. Remember?
Yeah. No, you're right. That's what happened in 2. It just, I don't get the whole sword thing right now. I mean, I get it, but
TBD.
I think there's more there. And once again, if it's not necessarily for all us to know today, if it fully explains.
But we're rating on it today.
I definitely understand. But I'm trying to. The only other thing is, and this is. It's more in the Terrifier series, especially like part 2 and part 3. But I felt it more in this one. Some of the scenes just feel like different scenes, and you kind of talked about it, like the beginning of the movie, like the scene at the bar. It makes sense in context, but it just feels like, all right, here's just what's going on here, and then we get back to like Sienna, and then here's just a random scene.
Sienna
and
Art were the story. Everything else was
fodder.
Cool things that Damien thought up.
Yeah.
But which, once again, I'm all here for. Damien, you are a genius when it comes to that stuff.
Sure.
It's
on board.
It's crazy. But all right, I think we talked about story enough. Jason, once again, just being a guest, you get some perks here. We're gonna come to you first on story beats 0 through 10. Where do you land?
I gave it an 8. I was very high on this. And the reason for my 8 is everyone thought they would know what to expect from a third installment, right? But you don't. There was so much that, like you said, the potholes with more potholes. For me, I think I understood a little bit more leaving this movie of where it might be going. And I think a lot of the things that we saw in part 2 were kind of answered. Actually, even part 1, because Victoria was in part 1. So a lot of this, I think, it's starting to come together. And I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Damien Leone actually just said the other day that 4 might be it forever, like for the entire series, because he doesn't want Art the Clown and Terrifier to become like a multiple, like, sequel movie like your Friday the 13th, Halloween's. He wants it to end on
I mean, if you're at 4, it's already a multiple sequel.
Little
movie.
does he know that's exactly what I want.
That's what
I do too. But
I think what he's saying is 4 might be then I want to go do other things, and I'll come back to this, somewhere down the road.
Right.
So, Kirk, I'm going to come to you next here. Where are you?
Yeah, so clearly I wasn't as high as Jason on the story. I thought the story was, it's not what I was there for. I didn't advance the plot very much. I gave it a 4 out of 10.
I had a feeling you were going to go that route. I'm a little bit higher than you, but I'm a 5. I think, once again, I still have a lot of questions. I think they did push, like I said, they filled some of the holes a little bit, and I can see where they're going, but just rating off of this movie, I still I ended up with more questions in some areas. I answered a couple, but once again, that's not necessarily bad. If you asked me to rate a Halloween or a Friday the 13th or whatever, a lot of those plots are going to be 3s and 4s and 5, you know what I mean? Like I that's not really a knock on this. Jay, I am surprised you're so high though. That's You really enjoyed the story.
That is Snoop Dogg high.
That's Snoop Dogg.
No,
out this world. All right, so going to our next category here, we call it the ARC. It stands for acting, relatability, and character development. Altogether, it could also equal the character arc. And I'll kind of start with this one here. I mean, realistically, Kirk, you already said this in the last one. It's almost like a 2-person. I know we have a bunch of like side characters, which all of them could add up to something, but this is really a Sienna Shaw and Art the Clown movie. And I just want to talk about Sienna for a second, because I actually enjoyed what they did with her of like this PTSD angle. She has like this survivor's guilt. She's seeing her friend that died in the last one who's saying it's your fault. And she's feeling like, why did I survive? I got all these people killed. I mean, the medicine isn't enough. It's only been 5 years where we pick her up. I kind of
forgot about the friend too. They kind of brought that up and then dropped it. Laura Lavigne, I definitely like her better in this one than I did in the second one. I think she's definitely improved. I think her character has a little more dynamics to it, to your exact point. But I think we have to say first is David Howard Thornton should always be Art the Clown. Period in a sentence.
But I mean, yes. I mean, Damien's gone on record because I think it was Michael something played him in, the old like All Hallows Eve and whatever. And he goes, that was a guy in a clown suit. And he goes, when David put on the suit, like he literally is art, not in killing people, but like he's got mime back, like he was a mime back in the day. Like he knows what he's doing with it. Yeah. He was great in the movie.
But outside of Sienna and David Howard Thornton, or Laura Lavigne and David Howard Thornton, you had your cameos, which those guys, I mean, they got killed, but everybody else is pretty stinking bad. Like the uncle, the aunt, the family at the beginning, they're very bad at what they're doing. I like seeing that part. Don't get me wrong; it's very entertaining. I just thought they're all pretty poor actors. But everything's leaned on Laura Lavigne and David Howard Thornton. You think
they're poor? I don't think they're rememberable, but I don't think they're bad.
I think they're very bad. And Mike, we talked about this. Our levels are starting. You watch so many bad horror movies that your level is starting a little differently than mine. But I thought they were all like made for TV type movie actors.
I agree to disagree. So I agree on the David Howard Thornton and Lauren Lavra. I think they're like the whole Art versus Sienna thing is absolutely great. Like they literally are the movie. And I will say the rest are very suspect, so I do agree with you, Kirk, there. But I will say this. I think as much as they're suspect, maybe in a lot of their talking roles, things like that, but when it comes to the actual death scenes in this movie, like I think the acting actually comes like with the more, not so much.
I mean, I'm a pretty good actor when I'm getting my head sawed off too. I mean, it's pretty easy to scream.
Well, I'm talking like
you're saying the fear, and
the whole fear and bringing in like the whole shower scene and stuff like that. You can sense that fear from that girl when she's like sees that chainsaw. So I mean, you see a lot of that in this, and I think that you have to be good at acting to get the buy-in from the audience on something like that, and I think you got a lot of that on this.
Well, Jay, I think you are onto something there, and I agree. I feel like these could be like Lifetime movie actors or just in like regular movies, but that doesn't make them bad actors. It just makes them stock actors.
Right.
But I do think like the fear and we talk about acting, but remember this is character development.
Stock isn't a compliment.
Relatability. I think the relatability is high on like the aunt and uncle, like that uncle where he's like, he's happy to bring her home. Then she starts going crazy and he's immediately like, no, something's right. Like we can't do this. And the aunt's kind of like, I know, but like just how they talk or whatever, it's very relatable. I think the bad actress in this movie, unfortunately, is Gabby. I'm not a huge fan of her. But outside of that, I actually
Jonathan again.
Well, Jonathan
they minimize him though.
Jonathan is horrendous in this movie. He's so much worse in this than he was in 2. Yes. But they gave him almost no lines and no scenes that I think, I applaud Damien for stepping up and saying, you're going to be in it, but you're not really going to be in it.
But with Jonathan and Gabby's powers combined, it made one really bad actor.
But you know who did decent, though, was Victoria, which is the girl that was the mauled face girl that was
I thought she was pretty good. And I thought
she was fine.
The imaginary friend, not the imaginary friend, but the dead friend, when she was screaming at her to
screaming
pass
at the
rice.
table.
Yeah, it was
I
excellent.
That was pretty good.
Like, I won't say excellent, but good. But I thought Victoria was like good. And once again, we're looking at big key players. You have your Daniel Roebuck in the movie. He was just fine. He was the Santa guy. He's in a lot of things. Clint Howard. We had Chris Jericho with his little cameo. Tom Savini gets on there, right, on the news. You have Jason Patrick, who plays a really good dad, honestly, in there. And it's
the cameos more made me happy than I paid attention to their acting. Like I was like, Clint Howard, that was entertainment value, but they didn't really bring anything to the acting, I guess.
the nice thing on this though is most of it was geared with just Art the Clown, Victoria, and Sienna. So like the brunt of it was the three.
The time was spent where it needs to be. Like I didn't need to see more of the aunt. You know, I didn't need her to have a monologue. You know, in any scene. So I didn't need it. I think so bad. It's a little reaching. But Kirk, I'm gonna come to you first here. Where are you putting?
Yeah, I mean, David Howard Thornton by himself almost gets all these points. I gave it a 5 out of 10. I gave it about average. And that's, I think Laura Levine is getting better. I don't think she's great. She's getting better. David Howard Thornton cannot be replaced, period, end of sentence. Everybody else is interchangeable. I don't really care.
All right, first off, Lauren Lavera. All right, there's no Levine. It's not Zach Levine. She doesn't play for the Chicago Bulls.
So I typed it up on my thing here, and it auto-corrected to Levine. So my brain, it's like the teleprompter.
But we
you
are
put it on a teleprompter. Ron Burgundy reads it. I don't know what to tell you.
But I need you to get your shit straight. It's Lauren Lavera. We've met her. She's very nice. I'm once again a little higher than you here. I'm a 6. I think this is above average. I think everybody in this movie, for the most part, is at least average. And then I think Art's above. And then I think you take away for Gabby and the parts that Elliot, who's Jonathan, was in, like knocks it down just a little bit. But I think he's above average acting. I don't think this is bad. So I'm a 6 here. Jay, where are you?
Yeah, so one of you I agree with, and that's Mike. I'm also a 6 here. Obviously, Art and Sienna and Victoria were amazing. But like I said, I love the way these other actors were suspect, of course. I agree with you there, but I think there was that extra, fear in everything they were bringing to it that it kind of just made it good for me.
I like it. As we keep trucking along here on, is this a Christmas movie? This is officially a Christmas movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
I think so.
So
we did it a little bit early. We should have done it in 2 months.
We should have. But no, there's no way I could have slept on this puppy. So now, speaking of Christmas, this is kind of the section where it really comes in. Category 3, visual appeal. Kirk, what does that do for us?
Yeah, visuals are going to be everything you see on the screen. Your effects, visuals, cinematography, gore, practical effects compared to CGI effects, just everything you see.
So, Kirk, what did you think here?
Yeah, so obviously, let's just kick it off with everybody's thinking we're going to repeat this 2 other times, right? The gore looked amazing. Everything was very believable. Everything was practical. Art would look like art again. Yes, check mark, push that off to the side. Can we just do that? Like, we all agree that was great.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I'm not saying I'm not going to talk about it, but yes.
Yeah.
There's no reason to bring it up. We all know that. We know that. Past that, when it comes to cinematography and visuals and all that, you could tell it was a tight budget to the movie, but I think they worked well within what they had, right? So you knew when they're in the bus, you couldn't see outside of the bus because it was probably some weird developer. They had a small budget. They had work in it. They hit it very well. I think they did very well from within their budget.
Yeah, it's a lot of like close. Right. You're in the bar scene, right? There's not a lot of out in the streets and backdrops and stuff. You're in the house at the beginning. You're in the house at the end.
Cinematography doesn't really apply to this movie because there's no landscapes and. Shots
but I still think it looks good. I think the one where the girl's falling into like the pit, you could tell. I mean, it's obviously it's a little
little
cardboardy there, but like honestly, it does not really change my score too much at all on something like that. But once again, the budget for this movie was spent in every place that I believe it should have been spent on, and if he would have taken money away from somewhere else and spent it somewhere else, I probably would have had a problem with it.
Yeah,
they made a $2.5 million movie look like about a $10 million movie.
They did. Yeah,
that's fair. I was
going to say that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they stretched the budget. You could tell if you're nitpicking and splitting hairs, but that being said, if you're just sitting back enjoying the movie, like I know the three of us did, it disappears a little bit for you. So you don't catch all these little things that they kind of cheapened on.
Yeah. And I'll say this real quick too with the cinematography, since we're talking about that. See, I thought the cinematography was even more great in the fact that I felt they really brought the death scenes to life, with a great balance of comedy and horror. So, obviously in the visuals, we talk about gore. I mean, in here. So, I mean, we'll all talk about that here in a minute, obviously. I mean, we don't need to. I mean, it's a lot. It's great. It's amazing. But I think the cinematography really brings those scenes to life. It actually, like, to me, I thought it was brilliantly done.
Yeah, I like just with the film, and this could also be in the story, but like the pacing of this movie I thought was really good. I thought
For
from
over a 2-hour movie, it didn't feel like
it did not feel like a 2-hour movie. I mean, I could have sat through another hour of this and been just as happy. In fact, I wish there was another hour of this movie. I'm also depraved, and I might have.
This is kind of zoned in.
Would have opened up more of those potholes, right?
I think the Christmas visuals in this. We talked about. We know the look of art, but putting art in a Santa suit with the blood on it. That visual is something I didn't realize I needed until it started being talked about, right?
The oversized boots.
The oversized boots. Well, you got to think, Art's always carrying, he's always carrying a trash bag. I mean, I'm sure that's how it came about, that somebody was like, I mean, it'd be funny if he was a Santa with the Christmas bag. And then it was like, that's probably how it spawned. I would also say, though, sometimes what isn't shown, the visuals kind of change there. And what I'm trying to say is, like, I put it here, but not seeing Jonathan's death, if he is actually dead. We don't know if
we assume he's dead now because that's what they're telling us.
But like not seeing that kind of is like a little bit of a knock for me because I know everybody wants to see him die. And that's a visual that we're talking about what we saw. I'm talking about, what we didn't see. Kirk,
uncle.
You and I talked about, we have the uncle pull up in the car and he's on the phone and he's talking. And then all of a sudden the uncle is gutted, headless on top of a tree. We missed some stuff there, which could also be story. From what I read, 25 to 30 minutes were cut out of this movie that I hope we get in uncut, and I'm sure it's there. But
a 2 hour and 40 minute Terrifier 3.
It wasn't going to cut, and I can't look at this movie and say, but they could have cut it from here. I don't. I think this movie has what it needs. I wish there was.
But there are places you feel the cuts.
And that's the scene. More importantly than any, and I don't think if they actually filmed Jonathan's death, I honestly don't think they would have cut that. So I think that is actually not there for a reason or for not. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I kind of thought about that too after I watched the movie. I'm like, Jonathan has had such a big part in these last two movies, and with
the last one.
Well, and this one, and I meant as in 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard not to just throw. But it is funny how they did have his glasses though, so it kind of makes you wonder whose head is really in there. But he could have taken any head from any of those. I think it was
the construction worker. He peeled his head off earlier in the movie. But to your point earlier, Mike, where you said that this movie had a really good flow to it, and it felt like it flowed really well. The one time that it didn't was in between him pulling up to pick up Jonathan and suddenly everyone was tied up in the living room. That was jolting right there.
Yes. Yeah.
So something was missing.
And like I said, I think it's a lot of cut on the ground. And you and I talked about this. Maybe they don't know what they're going to do with Jonathan. Maybe they are going to look at it and say, you are dead. That was you. That's it. Maybe they're like, maybe we'll bring him back. Maybe we won't. They don't know. And
could be a Stranger Things thing where Finn Wolfhard turns 25 and he's supposed to be a 16-year-old kid.
I just want to know if Elliot or Jonathan, is his voice going to keep aging backwards?
No kidding.
But for rating and reviewing this, I kick this one off here. I'm an 8. This is a solid 8 for me. Like I said, there's some things where it wasn't seen, some of the limited backdrops or whatever, but I'm very high on this. The visuals are fantastic. The blood and gore is amazing. Damien is the greatest practical effects person that is out there today, in my opinion. And prove me wrong. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I land. Jay, where are you here?
I'm with you. I'm an 8 as well. You can't go wrong with. I mean, the blood and gore in this movie is spot on. Hell, we've all seen thousands and thousands of horror movies. This is probably one of the bloodiest, goriest horror movies I've ever seen, and it did not disappoint. And when my mouth is dropped for more than half the movie, I mean, it's genius.
It is.
Yeah, they go all in on this one. So I'm a 6. I think the gore is amazing. I agree with you guys. I think the practical effects are excellent. I do think they are hiding things, and the cinematography is a little lacking. So I brought it down to a 6.
I'm amazed at where you're putting these categories, Kirk.
I mean, we've been one off the first two, and this one is the biggest gap, and we're 2 off.
This is
of all the ones.
I just feel visuals in this one are pretty.
But the gore was excellent. I'm not even questioning that. I'm with you guys on the gore. Like
the gore should have been an 8 alone.
Nah, you can't do that.
It's up there. It's up there. All right, so that takes us to category 4, which we call movie driver. And basically, what movie driver is, think of it almost as kind of like the genres or what this movie is basically selling you. Did it live up to it? And Kirk, you put together a good list of what the movie driver. So go ahead. What was your list here?
Yeah, for this one, I called it a slasher horror splatter comedy.
Yes. So those are kind of like the 4 genres that we are working in.
This is what we're looking for.
And I mean, I think splatter, slasher, right? Some of these there, I mean, is it not knocking it out the ballpark on a few of these here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Terrifier movie. We went in expecting this. We came out exactly getting this. So this movie delivered exactly with what we wanted with the budget. That's barely anything. So this movie really, really delivered on its kills. Me and you talked about several times. Every kill was top end, very graphic, very painful to watch. I mean, it just the slasher horror splatter was on par.
Yeah, so the one place that I look at just a little bit in the comedy, the dark comedy.
Yeah, I got 2 little
section.
nitpicks. Yep, I'm with
you.
Yeah,
and first off, I do want to point out, I should have put in the visuals. Him wearing the Christmas tree glasses. I think every movie they need to find
a new set of glasses.
The new set of glasses for him to wear. I loved it. It was genius. And I was looking around the theater, and everybody was pointing to somebody and going, "Look at the glasses. Look what he's got going on here."
I wish they would have had him in the yellow glasses and then him walk by something and be like, and take those off and put these on. That would have been pretty funny.
And art was very funny. I think they tried to work the comedy a little bit through that Gabby a little bit, and brutal. It fell a little flat there at times. But for the most part, the movie drivers, what I came to see, I think it delivered on almost everything across the board.
Yeah, I got 2 nitpicks with it. You brought up the comedy. I wanted to see more art doing art comedy. Like when he walked by that window and saw Santa Claus, hilarious. When he's getting kicked off the stage, hilarious. It just wasn't enough of that for me. It left me wanting more. Maybe that's the point. The movie did its job. I wanted more, but I wanted more. The second thing is, and me and you kind of talked about this, I think every death in this movie is very good, but I didn't get that one death that I thought was the movie pinnacle. Like the first movie, we had the saw in half upside down girl. The second movie ramped it up a little bit more. We had the bedroom salt kill. The third movie, I know that they were going for the butt chainsaw. We'll call it the butt chainsaw. Very, very brutal, but I felt like it was kind of a repeat of the first one, sawing someone in half. They just happened to shove it up a dude's ass instead of a girl down the middle. I think they're all excellent kills. Like I know, Jason, you're about to jump on me here. I think they're all excellent. I just didn't get that one peak to the movie. I thought they were all 8.5s, and I didn't get that 10 like I did in the first 2 that they kept ramping up. And I know it's kind of splitting hairs a little bit. Me and Mike kind of talked about it earlier. I didn't get that 1. You know what I mean?
I will agree to disagree.
You've said that a few times.
I know. That's what I do. But yeah, you're right. You got the upside down chick in the first one, the friend in the bedroom in the second one. This one, the whole shower scene was supposed to be
supposed to be it. Yep.
Yeah, and I will say, did I get like the whole holy cow like from like the first 2? Yes, in my opinion, because I think we already kind of got the saw in half with the girl in the first one, so it kind of took away a little bit from the butt cheek guy.
The butt saw.
But I think it was that whole scene in general, because you still had the girl in the shower, and when he cut her open, and then he's like slicing her all up and cutting her to pieces.
Takes his glasses off and looks at her.
Yeah, so I think it was just it was more the entire scene as opposed to just the
agree
boyfriend.
With you. I 100%
So I think
agree
that's
with you.
where the wow was. And then I also think that you kind of got two in this one, because that opening scene, even though you don't officially fully see it with the 6-year-old or 7 or 8-year-old boy, you still see him chopped up into pieces on that next scene, which is that holy shit factor because it's a kid.
All right, Jason. So you're a football fan. I know this.
Yeah.
So if you've got 2 quarterbacks, what don't you have? You don't have one. If you've got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. So you don't. I never found. I loved every kill. I'm not trying to throw shade on any of the kills. I think they were all excellent. I just didn't get that one that was just
let me just chime in here, and we talked about this. I think this is a credit to Damien. I don't think it's a knock. I think he not only has he set the bar so high, but in this movie, every kill, in my opinion, would be the top kill in any other movie.
In the other two.
And I think, I think he
I agree.
Literally every kill. We didn't even talk about the freeze where then he freezes the guy's hands and face and smashes them. We didn't talk about the rats shoving the pipe down the throat, the rats going down and then cutting open the throat and the rats popping out. Like, I mean, these are so maniacal and genius. It's a credit to him that we look at this and go, oh my God, every kill is so good in this movie that one doesn't stand out over the other one because they're all so good. But I think realistically, in most movies, these are all the top kill ever. So
in the other, but what I'm thinking is $35,000, I get a girl cut in half. $250,000, I get that whole bedroom scene. Excellent. This is $2.5 million, 10 times the budget.
Yeah, but you got every kill is
everything
like
is like over.
I agree.
Every kill is the chainsaw. Every kill is that girl.
But
I'm
talking about my expectations. My expectations was for
I think it is the bathroom scene, especially the guy falling and his legs snapping, and you had the girl, and then that. I think they did. I think they did do a good job. I think that scene
I agree. I agree with everything you're saying.
I know where you're going, Kirk. I
wanted one more that was just like I wanted a oh fuck moment, and I just got like 10 oh shit moments.
I don't even know if it's possible when you have a movie like this and everything, and when everybody's a starter. You know, you got 5 Kobe's on a team, and you're asking to pass the ball, but. All right. So for movie driver, Jason, we are back to you. Where do you land here?
It's a 10. It's a 10.
It's a 10.
It's a fucking 10.
It's a 10.
Kirk, where are you?
I'm an 8. I think it was excellent. I mean, I'm doing all this complaining, but I think it was more minor complaints than anything else.
So if I take a little bit of Kirk, a little bit of Jason, I mix them together, you get a 9, and that's where I land here. This is a 9 out of 10. Oh my gosh. Like we talked about this Kirk leaving, like we got what we came for. Like I felt satisfied leaving the theater. And guess what? They didn't kill Art at the end. They had him on a bus doing whatever. Like I felt just justified with that too. Like it ended how I needed it to end as well, which is huge. All right. So that takes us to our last category, which actually has that word in it. Lasting impression, Kirk. What does that mean?
So your lasting impression is mainly 2 things. Walking out of the movie, the theater, getting up off your couch. What is your feeling initially when that movie ends, the credits hit? And then 2, rewatchability, I think is another big thing in this. How many times are you going to revisit this movie to see the kills, see whatever's driving you back to go see this movie again?
So, Jay, where are you on a lasting impression?
I mean, literally the moment I walked out of the theater, I wanted to go buy another ticket and go right back in and watch it all over again. That's where I was with it. I mean, holy fucking shit, was this a masterpiece for me.
You're as deranged as Mike. I got really...
It runs in the family. There's nothing we can do about it.
It was an absolute masterpiece. Like, it was worth the 2-year wait for this movie. 100%. I'll wait another 2 years if it gets even to the next level. It was everything I imagined, everything I waited for, everything I wanted. I had goosebumps. I want to watch it a million times more. Let's go again. Let's do this.
I have to say, over the last couple days, I've actually entertained the idea of going back to the theater this year.
Really?
I actually have.
Wow.
I don't think I will. But I think when this comes out on video, I'll get the family together and we'll all watch this as a family again. But Kirk, I just said this. I got exactly what I wanted from this movie leaving. I will say I got what I wanted, not exactly everything that I felt like I needed. And some of that is kind of just going back to the story from earlier. I felt like I needed a little bit more closure on some of the pieces. And once again, I think they're playing the long game. I'm not going to fault the series for it, but in this movie, it does change a little things because we walked out and we had a nice chat on this. Like, I got everything I wanted. I got everything I wanted from the movie, but there are a couple things that I needed.
So to kind of bounce off that, rewind to the very beginning of the show, what we said before walking in this, we got exactly what we said. We came out with exactly, like, expectations were hit. So we both came out with big smiles on our face. We were both happy about, like, we had the same critiques on these little nitpicky and story things and acting things, but we expected that walking in. So I left this movie, credits rolled. I was very happy. Now, when it comes to you sick fuckers, rewatching this movie, I did really enjoy this movie. I can definitely see myself going back and rewatching it. I do think I'd watch 1 or 2 before I'd watch 3. And I do think the kills are better.
As in, you want to watch them all over again, 1, 2, and then 3?
I don't know I'd watch 1 and 2 before I watch 3. And I'm not saying that they're better movies. I think the third one is, I just think it ramps up a little bit different, and I got more comedy from Art in the first 2.
So if you were to, let's just do this real quick before if you were to put the movies in order of your favorites, 1, 2, 3, where would you, what would your 3, 2, 1, I guess, be? What order would that be?
This is a tough one, because I think all 3 are very close to each other. I think they're very clumped up together, and I would probably say 2, 1, 3, maybe, or 2, 3, 1. I don't really like. I think at any given Sunday, we're talking about any 3 of these movies being our favorite movie.
I think number 3 is my favorite. I don't even think it's
number 3 has by far the best kills.
Yeah, but I also think, like,
as a whole,
I think the story is starting to pan out, and I like it better because the first one doesn't have any plot, but it's exactly what it's what I wanted anyway. Like, I
really like the comedy of Art. I think David Howard Thornton's physical comedy is excellent, and I got more of it in the first 2 than I did the third.
I honestly think I might go, like, 3 is my favorite, 2 is my second favorite, 1 is my least favorite, and by when I say least favorite, I look at this as almost like Evil Dead. I don't think there's a bad one in the bunch yet.
I agree with you.
Yeah, there's no bad one. It's a step down from Evil Dead, but yeah, I agree with you.
No, I'm saying as in, like, in an Evil Dead, there's 5 of them. They're all good.
They're all good.